It's Toby from Heavyweight MMA. Today with Jake Piper, rising Australian MMA fighter. How are you, bro?
Good, mate. How you going?
Good, man. Good. Pretty much the aim of this show is to try and highlight a few good fighters and watch the journey of a few of you guys as you raise through the ranks and get up to the big leagues, bro. So I think finding a good fighter like yourself is part of what I want to do with this show, bro. You've been highlighted as a rising star, bro. Watched a couple of your fights and you look to be a rising star, man. What are your plans in the sport, bro?
Mate, no plans in particular. Just take it as far as I can go. Just see what happens. Make a lot of money. And yeah, whatever happens, happens, eh?
That's it, man. Watching some of your fights, I see you've got some concrete in your hands, man. Can you talk about like how that's developed, man? Did you start off in boxing or anything like that's developed that sort of power?
No, my first fight was an MMA fight. Like I knocked him out cold in my first MMA fight when I was like 14. So I think it's just always been a thing, eh? Like I've always just had those intentions behind my punches, and probably from training with bigger people and having to keep up with that sort of stuff. Probably helps a lot. Maybe genetics, maybe the way I train, who knows? But just glad I have it.
I had little flashes of Justin Gaethje power, man. When I see like the sound of your hits on the guy, like it just sound a bit just a little bit Justin Gaethje-ish, bro. Nice power, you know.
It's loud.
Man, would you be able to talk about like how did you start off, man? What made you want to go into a gym and start training?
It was when I was heaps younger in primary school, about 7 or 8. I was getting bullied heaps in school, and Dad took me to learn how to defend myself. Because like it was getting to the age where it was more than just verbal bullying. Like kids would start trying to pick on you and punch you and gang up on you and shit. So Dad just wanted me to be able to defend myself, so it took me to learn how to fight. And after a while, I just fell in love with it.
That's Caloundra. Is that where you're from? Caloundra, Queensland. Is that where it all started?
No, I live in Caloundra now, but I'm from Townsville originally.
All right, so
I only moved here about 2 years ago.
Rough sort of place, Townsville, man, or it's all right?
It's not too bad. It's rougher than other places, but it's not too bad.
Yeah. So your dad took you along. What sort of school was it that you started at, man? Was it a traditional martial arts thing? Was it an MMA gym? What was it?
No, it was MMA straight away. But I started doing jiu-jitsu mostly. I think I was a little bit nervous to get into like the whole lot, being that young. So he took me to do jiu-jitsu first, got me the gi, and then I saw the bigger boys like doing MMA and wrestling and kickboxing and stuff, and I thought that looks cool, so I gave it a go.
Yeah, each of the arts kind of like have their own attraction, right? Like jiu-jitsu's got a real feeling of like, I don't know what it is, that brotherhood and just the training. Like you let it all out on the mat, you test yourself real hard in the sparring aspect of jiu-jitsu, but there's also something special to cracking the pads, right? Like I remember the first time I walked into a Thai boxing gym, like I'd been looking at different martial arts and that, and I just go in and people just cracking pads and that. It just seemed so real to me that I had to do it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I get you.
Different sort of feeling, man. So what was that gym that you started
at? Dog Factory. It's closed up now, but Dog Factory in Townsville. Dude,
how did you make your way over to the Ignite Martial Arts Academy and Dunstan Death Squad, bro?
I used to come to Caloundra. Like my mum lived in Caloundra, so I used to come to Caloundra for school holidays. And then I ended up just walking into the closest gym there. My dad told me about Ignite. So I walked in there and just walked in the front door and said, how you going? And at first he wasn't going to have me in the gym because one of their guys was fighting one of the dudes from my gym back in Townsville. I was like, I won't tell anyone. And then a couple of years later, I'm here full time.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the gym, man? What do you think are the strong points of the Ignite Martial Arts Academy?
Oh, it's the number one gym in the country, man. We've got a belt every weight class, every organisation pretty much. Pros and amateurs, like, yeah, we're doing more than any other gym in the country by far. Having people go overseas for fights, come back straight away, win belts here, like, gym's going off.
It's good, man. Who are some of the key guys that you see moving up the ranks and moving to the big leagues out of Ignite Gym?
Couple pros we got coming up. Dave Martinez, big one. Jimmy O'Brien, John Fraser, like the eternal lightweight champions. Myself, Jamie Eden, Taj Fakwandi. Yeah, plenty of people. Oren Palmley just fought over in Serbia with us. Ryan Bishop. Yeah, plenty of people, man. I can't even think of them all off the top of my head. There's
Yeah.
too many.
And how is it training there, man? Like it's pretty intense and competitive, or what?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome, but that's what you need. That's what you need. You need the hard gym and you need the hard coach, and because we're getting the fights, and then the fights are easy because we train so hard and because we're so intense.
In training hard, man, how do you guys spar? Because there's different sort of ideas on how you should spar, how heavy you should spar, this sort of thing. How do you guys do it?
At this level, we spar hard. Like I know some people don't like to spar hard all the time, but when you haven't been in all those wars yet, you got to go through them in the gym because otherwise you'll get into them in the fight and then you'll crumble because you just haven't been there yet. After a certain amount of time and you've done it all, then yeah, you can tone down the sparring. But at the moment, we need to spar hard, I reckon.
Yeah, I think it also depends, like you said, on your experience and then also the frequency of fights and that too, right? If you can have real frequent fights, you can maybe avoid a little bit of the sparring and just, because you're going to get those hard fights and experience. Bro, talking about experience, you just went in the IMMAF championships in Serbia recently. How was that experience?
Sick. It was so good. It was a bit cold for my liking over there, but the rest of it was mad. Like
What was the
getting a fight
temperature there,
multiple
bro?
times. Hey,
What was the temperature?
about -5.
Yeah, nice.
Coming from North Queensland, that was pretty cold.
Exactly. So the good thing about those championships, especially for amateur fighters, is the fact that you can rack up a few fights in one go, right? Like if you're just on the normal scene, you might be having one fight every few months or something, but over there you can potentially rack up, 4 or 5 fights if you're successful. How do you feel about the tournament in that way?
To tell you the truth, I didn't really like how they fight like every day in the week because you wind down and then you need to wind back up for the next day. And like my style of fighting, I just want to be able to write myself off and not have to worry about the next day. You know what I mean? So I didn't really like that, but I love that we get to compete against the rest of the world because you don't get that in Australia. Like you don't get to wrestle with the Dagestanis and strike with the best kickboxers in the world and stuff. And it just shows that our level's on par with everyone else.
That's it. How did you feel? You picked up 1 win and 1 loss over there, right?
No, I got 2 wins and 1 loss.
2 wins and 1 loss. Yeah. How did you feel with those fights?
Yeah, they pretty much went exactly how I thought they would. The last dude, the one I lost to, like I had an injured hip from the second fight. He kept kneeing me in the hip and the spine. So he'd take me down. I just couldn't move on my hip and that. But it was a good fight though. Like could have gone either way. I dropped him pretty bad in the second round. Thought I had him finished. But nah, it is what it is, man. Like it's good experience getting to travel the world and stuff to fight.
Nah, man, that's the thing, and that's a goal of a lot of the fighters to get to the stage, get to the big organisations where they can get to travel around and that's the start of that, right? And it can also just being in an unfamiliar place and with an unfamiliar crowd and that can build you a bit, right? Make you ready for that in the future.
Oh yeah, I think so. Maybe for other people, but crowds and places and big stages don't really bother me. They've never bothered me. Like I've never been nervous for a fight. I just love doing it. The bigger the better for me because I know other people are stressing more.
So when you're at the back waiting to go out to a fight, you feel zero nerves.
Nothing. Just put my music on. I know what's going to happen. There's no fakeness about it. I've put in all the work that I can possibly put in. I've come to terms with the worst outcome. Like there's zero nerves. There's nothing to be nervous about.
That's awesome, man. I think you're like a 1%er in that respect, bro. Because you talk to like top dogs and a lot of them get nervous still, bro. Like when I had kickboxing fights, man, I look out the window. I remember one particular looking out the window of this league club, looking out, going, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like I was shitting myself, man. So some of us are made for it more than others, bro, and I think that's you more than me. Yeah, that's good. I don't know if it means you got some sort of sociopathic or psychopathic tendencies that you feel nothing before going into war, but
I don't know, dude. Honestly, like I'd be fine going to war, real war. I reckon. I don't. Doesn't really matter.
That's it. So, talk about now. How's your training going right now? And what's the preparation? What's the plans for 2023?
Well, I want to have another shot at the IMMAF World Championships, but I don't want to do anything between because, one, I don't want to get injured in a fight, break a hand or something, and then ruin my chances. Or, I just want to take all this time to get better. Because last time I broke my hand, I had all this time off. I got heaps better in that time and came back and started knocking people out in the first round.
Awesome. What are the key things that you think you need to work on, to round out your game? Obviously, you got the hands down, bro. You're smashing fools, but what are the areas you're gonna work on, man?
Well, everything. Even though my hands are good, there's still room for it. Like, my wrestling's getting better, but probably wrestling, to answer your question. Like, I want to go over there and take them down because they're known for their wrestling. And
that's it. Are you familiar with Fergus Jenkins? You might have seen him over there at the same one.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man.
Man.
He got a bit unlucky, but yeah.
Another good someone from the Anzac region, bro, that I looking forward to seeing him jump into the pros, bro. But yeah, he did very well against some of those Eastern European fighters, especially in the previous one, right? Like he did some good counter wrestling with those guys, right?
Yeah, bro, he's a beast. He knows how to play that 5-day game. He's fit and he trains hard. Like, it's obvious, you can see it in his fights.
Yeah, and we talked about how it's great to get those other looks, right? Like you said, you get to fight these international opponents before it's in the professional levels, even out your game and face some different sort of opposition, because every country kind of has their own take on things, right? Like, generally in our sort of area, striking is kind of the predominant sort of force because we don't have a massive wrestling base in our countries, right? But some of these other countries the other way around, and all have their own take on martial arts and that and how they approach a game, yeah?
Yeah, well, that's what I thought too, but then I went over there and then realised that we're on par too. Like, have a look at Volkanovski beating up Islam. Like, it's not. People think Australia's behind, but we're not. But we're not, and we're tough too. That's a lot of countries don't have that. We're tough.
That's it, man. And you talk about Ignite as being one of the best gyms in the country, bro. On that note, do you feel like you'd ever look at training overseas, or you want to just stick with them? You feel like that's the peak of a training gym, you don't need anymore?
Oh, I'd definitely train like everywhere I can. I'd go overseas and get different looks and that, but I'm always going to come back home and be part of Ignite. Like, I might go to Thailand for 6 months, I might go there for 6 months, stuff like that, but I'm always going to come home to Ignite because it's not just the training, it's my family too, It'd be like leaving my family.
That's it, man. Have you had a chance to go over to Thailand and train with Bang Tao or Tiger Muay Thai or anyone?
Nah, not yet. That was my first time overseas going to fight.
That's awesome. First time overseas?
Yeah.
Yeah, how'd that feel, man? It's a bit of an eye-opener, eh? Going to a different
it's crazy. I didn't realise how different the rest of the world was. And it was only one little part.
Yeah, bro. I highly recommend going to some of these countries that are just completely different, like somewhere like Thailand, man. It's an eye-opener. If you can actually go there for a decent stint, you learn a bit about how, that we're just a small little part of the world in Australia, You learn a lot about other cultures and that by spending some time in other countries, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
You got guys like Dan Hooker and that, they reckon that's one of the best part of the job, that they can get around and, see parts of the world, meet different people, and also at the same time training, getting different looks in that too, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, bro, your amateur record, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just going off what I saw. I saw somewhere it said 11 fights. The thing I looked at said 10 fights. How many you had, bro? What's your record?
11, because one of the rematches didn't go on Tapology.
Yep. So what's your total? Total, it's 11 fights, 9 wins, is it?
Yeah, 9 and 2.
Yeah, and I see you got a good mix of KO, decision, submission, so you're pretty well rounded, right? It's not about one sort of outcome or whatever that you're chasing.
No, I can finish a fight anywhere. Fit enough to go 5 rounds. It's just how I fight. 1 decision out of 9 wins too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's the best way to go, right?
87% finish rate, I think.
I don't know, bro. I have to do the maths on that, but yeah, that's good, man. I mean, it's good to to be finishing is the way you want to be, right? You want to have some sort of finish record because that'll help you in the long run. So, so you want to go back to IMMAF. After that, are you thinking of turning pro?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
And any particular like organisations or anything? I see you've got a mix mash of organisations you've been going with now. Is there any particular organisations in Australia that you'd be targeting to start with?
Eternal's obviously the big one, I reckon. Like they look after you the most, biggest coverage. It's on UFC Fight Pass too. But honestly, mate, wherever I can get a fight,
Yeah, I think Hex has got some interesting ones too, man. I see Hex has got George Soteropoulos coming back again. That's kind of an interesting one.
Yeah, the dude from our gym is the Hex bantamweight champion as a pro. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And I watched what was the fight you mentioned a minute ago? David, yeah, he's a
Dave
nice
Martinez.
guy. Yeah, nice guy and good fighter too. Unfortunately, had a loss last fight, right?
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, he trains. I don't think I've seen anyone work harder than him and be a nicer person than him. Like he's a role model, not just inside the gym to me, man. Like he's awesome to have around.
Yeah, he just comes across as a very genuine, nice guy.
It's not awesome when he's on my neck, but the other times are pretty good.
So what now, bro? What are you doing at the moment? Are you like just training, like trying to improve skills? Like what's a typical week for you, Jake? Like Monday to Friday or Monday to Sunday or whatever. What are you doing?
Just depends how I go with work. Like I usually go to the gym every afternoon, as soon as I can get there, pretty much. So I go to Ignite on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday afternoon, and then I go to Hellraiser kickboxing on a Tuesday and Thursday afternoon if I can make it. And if I'm not working on a Tuesday or Thursday, I'll go to Ignite in the morning. And then Saturday morning at Ignite. And then Sunday usually just chill out.
And what's the focus? Is it like pure MMA or it's mixing it up between, like obviously you're doing kickboxing a couple of days. Yeah, when you go to Ignite, is it just MMA focused or is it, okay, today's wrestling, today's jiu-jitsu, like this broken down?
Oh, no, we're always doing MMA. We're always doing MMA. We've got the jiu-jitsu classes as well, like after MMA, and I stay for those. But, yeah, we're always doing MMA.
And in that mix, bro, you didn't mention like strength and conditioning or any of those things. Anything else that you pop in there as well?
That's sort of outside like the, what do you call it? Outside the technique gyms. Like Ryan, my coach, doesn't do a lot of that. That's sort of on us.
Yeah.
It's probably somewhere where I lack that I should do more. But
you're working as well, did you say at the moment? You're working as what?
Insulation. Put in all this stuff.
Oh, nice. Yeah. No, it's not easy, right? To be balancing that with trying to, bring yourself to that level to be ready for the pros, right? Do you plan on the future, like just seeing where it goes, or and if you can, going to full-time professional fighter, or you plan to work the whole way along?
Yeah, I plan to like go full-time professional fighter. Obviously, fighting's going to end one day, and I'm going to need not a backup, but just something to do. Like fighting's not my whole life. I want to take it as far as I can and make as much money as I can, so I never have to work and my kids never have to work and that sort of stuff. But if it all fails, and I want to be able to do something else, Yeah, or even if I get to the end and I have all that money, like I want to at least do something.
Yeah, it's a tricky game, man. You got to have a backup plan because there's dangers on every side, man. Every day you go to the gym, there's potentials for injury or whatever. Plus it's the pressure and trying to get money. The Australian scene, obviously not so strong in terms of money. You need to get that international level, which takes time and So yeah.
I think it's part of the reason why I don't get nervous too, because I know if fighting doesn't work out, there's still something else to go to. Like I can either just go back to work or I can find something else to do, or there'll always be something for me. Like I'm not Jake the fighter. I'm just Jake, and I'm fighting right now until I don't want to anymore.
Nice. Do you see yourself training and fighting, training through your whole life, or that's something you think you'll just let go once it's over? Or no idea?
No, I'll definitely train through my whole life, and once the wheels fall off and I can't fight anymore, then I'll coach. But but I'm still going to have a life outside of that, you know?
That's it. Man, do you have any sort of any timeline exactly of pro? You're thinking like, when is the date of that next IMMAF champs?
I think it's at the end of this year. I wouldn't have a clue, to tell you the truth.
So you're probably looking at like early 2024, taking on a pro fight, right?
Either early 2024, midway through 2024. Just, yeah, whenever I can get one.
Nice.
Like,
Is there
I want to do it right.
any particular like fighters or anything that you're looking to at the moment, or just you'll look at that when you get there?
Nah, I don't really care. It's a fight. I just love to fight. Whoever's put in front of me.
Do you look at any of the featherweights in the UFC and think how you'd go against them?
Stand up, there's some that I'd beat the piss out of for sure. I know that. It's just the wrestling to get around.
Which guys do you look at? Reckon you could take them out?
I don't know names off the top of my head, but I watch UFC on the TV and stuff, and I think like I could hang with that. And then I train with top level dudes too, like Martinez, who's just that step off being in the UFC. Like, I'm surprised hasn't got the call already. John Fraser, fucking amazing. Sean Gauci, you know, he's not far off it too. And Paul Logger, he just came in to train with us the other day. Like, some high level dudes and that I'm hanging with and sometimes getting the better of. So, like, yeah, I reckon when it comes to stand up, there's not many people that'll match me in Australia. So I go to the rest of the world and beat them up.
Nice, man. Hey, on the UFC, man, UFC 287 is on tomorrow.
Yeah.
What are your feelings about the top couple of fights, like Izzy versus Alex Pereira? What are your thoughts on how that one's going to go down?
Pereira wins. I don't
by
think,
KO?
Yeah. Or actually, he could win a decision. I reckon Izzy might come out hard, trying to have something to prove, and then gas, and then he might win a decision or run into a big left hook or a knee or something like that.
Man, I saw quite a few interviews and different people analysing. They reckon Izzy's going to come out and wrestle, but I think that's the last thing they're going to do. Like, I watched quite a few things in the past. Like when they were first fighting Pereira in MMA, they were saying, we're not going to change anything. We're not going to wrestle because Izzy's strength is stand-up. And he didn't really wrestle. He just threw a few bits of wrestling in. You know, I think, and they're also putting out a few videos of them wrestling and that here and there. I think they're kind of trying to trick Pereira into thinking they're going to be wrestling. But I think really the key, bro, that he got caught last time was his mobility got fucked up. This is my feeling anyway, because Pereira, you watch from the start, smashed his legs up pretty bad from the start of the fight. And I think he's going to try and avoid that and try and stay mobile. And if he can stay mobile, he won't get trapped like he did on the outside. So my feeling is he's going to be more mobile and just like stay away from the big shots and just, you know, work like he did before, but with more mobility. So I don't think the wrestling's a go. What are your thoughts on those ideas, bro?
Yeah, what you said. Like, I don't think the wrestling's a go. He's never wrestled in a fight up until the Pereira fight in MMA. Like, didn't take anyone down, didn't try to wrestle, like sort of defended takedowns and went back to his thing. I don't reckon the first time he tries to wrestle is going to be on a fight with this much pressure for him.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
and with
sure.
the leg kicks and stuff and his movement, like I watched his kickboxing fights too, and he didn't smash his legs up. He had his movement in the kickboxing fights and still lost those as well. Some people have just got your number. I reckon there's always that one person.
Difficult one. Any of the Australia and New Zealand sort of fighters that you look up to and respect and would like to kind of emulate at all? Any of the successful guys?
It's more the ones that I know as people rather than fighters.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not dudes in the UFC that, you know, are making all this money and stuff. It's like the ones close to me, like the people from my gym, David Martinez, like Jimmy O'Brien, Paul Logger, Sean Gauci, my coach, even though he's not fighting anymore. Like, I want to be that type of fighter. Yeah.
No, it's good, man. So you're looking at it like as far as how they are as people and how they represent themselves rather than just their achievements, right?
Yeah, of course, because like I was saying before, fighting's going to end one day, and what's the point in having all these shiny gold medals and all this money if you're not a good bloke?
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Man, I usually ask people like about the like 1% of things that people do, like your diet, sleep, any other things that you do, like your ice bars, your sauna, all this sort of thing. What other things do you do on the side of the actual training that you think might help?
Man, I'm pretty shocking with that. I don't do much. I train for my techniques and I train for my cardios, but I don't do ice baths, don't do recovery sessions, don't go to saunas. Like, I don't do all that stuff. I don't take supplements. I don't. Yeah. So I wouldn't know how to answer that question, man. I'm just.
What about your diet, bro? Do you hit the diet properly, or you just kind of take it as it comes?
When I'm getting ready for a fight and I need to get down to weight, then yeah, like I look after my diet. But I'm pretty sure I had what I had this morning. I had like a triple cheeseburger meal on the way to work today.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think, man, like as an amateur, do you think like maybe that's what it is? You can get away with it, but then as you move up, do you think you'll look at those things as, they are only 1%ers. So you're doing the 99% that you need to do, but those 1%ers can just make you a bit better. I'd actually say fuel is more than a 1%er. So eating and that, I think, is probably a bit more of a key to get something happening as you get towards pro. Do you think you'll be looking at that a bit more as you get there?
Same thing. When I'm getting ready for a fight, yeah, but I don't want to be miserable outside of fighting. Like when I don't have a fight coming up, I still turn up to training every day because I love it. But I also love food, so I want to have that life outside of fighting where I can, just not be miserable and have to worry about everything. And I can't eat this.
Just to harmlessly plug the fight dietitian. I don't have any stake in him or anything, but I've got a meal plan from him recently. It's not really miserable food that they make you eat in there with those guys. I think they're pretty like versatile on what they allow people to eat. It's just it's more about getting the right fuel, the optimum fueling before training and after training and that sort of thing. And I think they work around what people like to eat. So I'd recommend hitting up those guys for something once you get up to the pros and you're doing well. Just hit them up for a sponsorship or something, man, because they seem to be covering most of the Australian, New Zealand fighters, plus a few guys like Leon Edwards. And you watch them, they show the food they're eating before fighting and that, or even before weighing. It looks not bad,
Yeah. Before, like I said, getting ready for a fight doesn't really matter. Like, I'll do anything, whether the food's bad, whether the food's good. I'll stick to it and I'll be disciplined. But as soon as that's over, like I'll just eat what makes me happy. Doesn't matter if it's a triple cheeseburger on the way to work.
Fair enough.
I'll probably get one on the way home too.
Fair enough, man. Man, also something I usually ask people is like motivation, bro. Like for your general person, what are tips you'd give? Obviously, you're working, you're training, you're a pretty motivated guy. Like, what are tips for people just to be motivated, man? Like, how do you do it? Psychologically or whatever. You wake up in the morning, you got a big day ahead. How do you get to training and all that?
Just take each day as it comes. Don't worry about the end goal because whatever happens is going to happen anyway. So just get through the day and worry about the day as it goes, instead of worrying about how I'm going to feel in 4 weeks on fight night. Things like that. Like, you can't.
What about, man? You're doing your insulation all day. It's not the fucking easiest work, You get to the end of that and you're feeling beat up. How do you get to the gym after that? Like, what goes through your mind? Do you ever think, fuck this, I don't want to go?
Yeah, of course. Everyone thinks that. It's a grind. It's definitely a grind, especially when you're getting ready for a fight and you're just doing the same thing every day. You go to work, and then you go to training, and you do your cardio, and then you go home and sleep, and then you get up, and then you can't have your iced coffee in the morning or your triple cheeseburger on the way to work, so you're angry because you've got to eat fucking spinach and chicken, and everything gets here, and then you've got to do it all again that day.
So what's your thought process, bro? What's your thought process to make yourself get there? Are you like, fuck, don't be a pussy, get there? Like, what are your thoughts?
Honestly, personally, it doesn't really bother me because I've been in a worse position already than like food or training or a physical beating can ever put me. Like, just from things I've been through in life and things like that. So yeah, nothing's ever going to put me into a worse position than I've already been to. So it doesn't even cross my mind that I need to push, or it doesn't even cross my mind that I need to be motivated. I just do it because it's easy compared to the places that I've been.
Yeah, so you feel like it's not a challenge because you've been through much more challenging times, right?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, quite a few fighters coming from difficult backgrounds and that, right? They feel like it's a good outlet as well, right? To keep on the straight and narrow, the training, yeah?
Yeah, of course, 100%.
Yeah, cool. All right, bro. I think I've asked all the questions that I wanted to ask. It's good to meet you, and I wish you all the success with your fights this year, and I can't wait to see you enter the pros and the big leagues, bro. I'll be paying attention, being paying close attention, and we'll keep in touch maybe more after your big fight soon.
Sick. Thanks very much, bro. Thanks for having me on the interview and all that.
Cool.
Thanks for the opportunity and shit.
Yeah, no worries, man. Anytime.